In a further effort to conceal the fact that we didn't have enough ideas to fill out today's episode, Andrew and I will now read for you an advertisement from 1981 that ran exclusively in comic books.
Collectors take note, this is the first ever team-up between the Incredible Hulk and Hostess Fruit Pies.
Let's take it from the top. Advertisement. The Hulk, registered trademark, versus the Fumi Goonies. Boy, I'm not getting that reference at all.
Well, I bet back in 1981 it was hilarious, like someday this bit will be.
The Fumi Goonies are dressed like some paramilitary group.
Well, I think of, when I think of mass production, sugar-glazed fruit turnovers, I immediately think of people who kidnapped Patty Hearst.
But we're jumping ahead. We're already sucked into the topicality of this gripping story.
Panel 1, Dr. Bruce Banner. Is he David or Bruce at this point in time?
Well, the show is still on the air, so he's David Banner. I don't know why he couldn't be Bruce Banner on TV.
Well, because the producers of the show thought that Bruce sounded too fey and that David sounded...
Less Castro District?
Exactly. Panel 1. Heterosexual journeyman David Banner stands outside a United States post office. He thinks...
A mailman. What a great outdoors job to apply for. No enemies, except a yapping dog or two.
Panel 2. It's the early 1980s, and a man in line at the post office is wearing a fedora, which was the height of fashion in 1952. An asexual child, who will figure predominantly later in the story, stands in line holding a bag of groceries next to their mother, a shaggy-haired blonde whose face we never see, but we assume is hot. Fugitive Banner is in the foreground, with a constipated look of worry, and he now just realizes...
But mailmen are civil servants. There'll be questions, forms, tests.
Panel 3. A trio of paramilitary rebels burst through the entrance. Speaking of the Castro, the leader looks like Fidel. And keeping with the times, his one follower resembles porn star and all-around sleazebag John Holmes, while the other looks like a balding version of magician Doug Henning.
They're dressed like those generic G.I. Joe figures Mego put out.
Which ones?
Remember they were like made of die-cast metal? Something patriotic like Super Action Team, Eagle Squad.
Well, that sounds more like a Japanese cartoon than a toy to promote America's military-industrial complex.
Well, with such memorable marketing, I'm surprised that was the reason that toy company went out of business that decade.
That's a confusing panel in that one. I just like the fact that the artist costumed the Fumis like Sandinistas, and then gave them 1920s Tommy guns. Balding Doug Henning proclaims, "We are the Fumi Goonies." Threatened and insecure. I'm gathering that subtext from the 4 lines that were used to draw his face. Castro upstages Henning here with, "You're all now hostages of the revolutionary government."
Meantime, lower in the panel, squiggly lines are emitting from Banner, who thinks, "What lousy timing!"
When has a hostage situation ever been the right timing?
This is the panel where all of the conflict happens. All Banner wants is to be a civil servant. It's just not meant to be.
That's a shame, too, because being a mailman is so stress-free. It would have been the perfect job to contain his gamma-irradiated rage. Nothing bad ever befallen the Postal Service employees before.
Panel 4. The Incredible Hulk has all 3 Sandinistas in a bear hug, proclaiming,
"You make Hulk angry. Hulk squeeze you into size of envelope, then mail you through out-of-town slot."
I miss advertisements like this. This is what kids today are missing. Terrorists attack a government building and a mongoloid man-child threatening to shove people into mail slots.
I want to mass-produce fruit pie just thinking about it.
The androgynous child does not care for Hulk's creative solution to the terrorist threat and instead suggests, "No, Hulk, don't. Give him our Hostess registered trademark fruit pies."
We surrender for fruit pies!
If only we had fruit pies in Saigon.
Panel 5 shows the Sandinistas smiling and eating fruit pies behind bars. The caption reads,
Later, after the police have put the Fumi Goonies behind bars...
Real fruit filling. Delicious apple. Light flaky crust.
John Holmes has the biggest smile of all.
This cherry's better than anything I've ever had.
That joke won't be funny until 1988.
Panel 6. A beleaguered, though still clearly heterosexual, David Banner stands in front of city skyline wearing tattered clothes. 2 Hostess fruit pies float in midair before him.
Well, I think they're meant to be a superimposed product placement over the final panel.
No, I'm fairly certain the artist is representing a post-Hulk-out hallucination.
I'm having one now.
At any rate, banner wonders allowed.
I'll send the Fumi Goonies a bill for the kids' Hostess Fruit Pies and for my new clothes.
He doesn't even know what gender the kid was supposed to be.
And so it ends, with an advertising slogan waving over a homeless man desperately hoping incarcerated terrorists can buy him new clothes. You'll get a big delight in every bite of Hostess Fruit Pies.
I'm glad you brought that in. The show Mad Men finally makes sense to me now.
I was a little hesitant to, what with the Hulk and all.
Why?
Come on, you don't think we talk about superheroes too much on this show?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, they're so prevalent in the culture now anyway, and for us, especially as artists, the comic book medium has always been part of our lives.
Yeah.
Plus, at least we're trying to make something new out of that discussion. It's not like we're just going to sit here and expound upon Captain America, Civil War, or something like that.
I just saw it.
Yeah? What'd you think? Expound.
Honestly, I liked it.
Well, okay, that's good. I mean, why do you ask, honestly?
It's just a figure of speech.
Well, I know. One in which people ask honestly and then follow up with a negative comment such as they didn't like it.
But I did like it.
Well, then you gave a dramatic pause after asking it, though.
I did not.
Well, you're obviously just craving attention.
I am not. Paul, our engineer, am I craving attention? Paul, answer me. Am I craving attention, Paul?
Don't answer that. Don't answer that, Paul. Don't answer that, Paul. Go back to that last cue and let's hear some Lumpin' Radio.